The world of Pokemon. Over the past 20 years, we have seen 7 very unique regions that have been inspired by real-world locations. The regions of Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh are all based off of Japan. The Kalos region is based off of France, and the Unova and Alola regions are based off the United States. There are still many places in the real world Game Freak could choose a location to draw inspiration from. That is the goal of this series, to pick a part of the real world and reimagine it as if it were a Pokemon region. And this final episode of Season 2, as suggested by Zhao, we are leaving our own reality and checking out Westeros as a Pokemon region. Possible spoiler warnings for all past seasons of Game of Thrones and all the books. Also, most images used in this video are from the book The World of Ice and Fire, a great book any fan of the books or the TV show should have. But let's get into this and what it would look like as a Pokemon region. Wow. I wanted to do this for a while, and the fact that it was suggested by one of my fans just makes it even much better. I knew it would never be easy, but A Song of Ice and Fire is one of my favorite book series ever written. Combining 2 of my favorite franchises is a dream of mine, and I just hope I don't disappoint with this. I was going to do more than just Westeros originally. I wanted to do the whole known world, but including Essos would have made this video too messy as a Pokemon region, so I will focus solely on Westeros. This will also be very different from normal Where in the Worlds, since there are no images to show since this is all from a book. Instead, I will be showing full maps of the regions of Westeros to give you an idea of how wondrous this land would look like. And we will start off in the north, since this is the first place we were ever introduced in both the book and the show. The north is home of the Starks of Winterfell, and it is one of the coldest places south of the wall. It's covered in thick forests and holds some of the most important history of Westeros. The climate does change as we head south to the Riverlands, where the land becomes more habitable and great for raising livestock. From here we have 4 places to go, and we will head west to the Vale. This could be the most craggy and mountainous part of Westeros. It is known for being the best defended area thanks to its mountains forming a natural choke point. You all know how I love mountains, and I can only imagine the Pokemon that could be here. But we'll cover that later and focus on the land for now. Going east now past the Riverlands, we go to the Westerlands, home of House Lannister. We haven't really seen this part of Westeros much in the show, and my memory of the books is fuzzy, so I do remember that this is a mountainous part of the world, but not as much as the Vale. The Westerlands are very well known for the gold mines that made the Lannisters one of the most wealthy families in Westeros. But since we are here, I want to head north to the Iron Islands, a harsh set of islands that breed some of the strongest pirates and reavers in all the lands. Since this is the Pokemon world, and this game would probably be set in the modern time, we can't have that. But I could see this being a place with a battle facility in which only the strongest of the strong could battle here. But there is still a lot of land to cover, so we'll move on to the Reach, south of the Westerlands. This is the most fertile lands of Westeros and made it pretty much the breadbasket, providing foods to a lot of the other regions of Westeros. Being such a fertile land, it would make a great place for grass-type Pokemon. Since the land is fertile, I would see this retaining the farming aspect, and it would be a major part of the Pokemon region. We will continue west to Dorne now, the giant desert region of Westeros at the southernmost tip. Most Pokemon regions have a desert, and this one would be no different. We are just starting to see this part of Westeros in the recent seasons of the show. It is quite a beautiful land, and it would be more than just a desert with their great architecture. But we only have 2 more parts to show, and I want to jump to the Stormlands, which is north. The Stormlands might be the most unique lands of all of Westeros with its climate and topography. It's cold and mountainous near the southern mountains that border Dorne, but the northern parts of this region are wet and warm. It's also very unique in that it is part of Westeros that is very close to Essos, which would make it a great gateway to that part of the world in the Pokemon game, similar to how the Kanto-Johto border in Gen 2. And now finally we move on to the Crownlands, which is where the Crown rules from. In modern times, this would be the capital of the region, the largest city in the Pokemon region. I'm even debating on this being the location of the Pokemon League. It would be fitting since it's such an iconic part of Game of Thrones. That is a lot to take in, and normally I'd be showing you off a map of this region now with towns and cities all pointed out, but thanks to the images used to show the geography of Westeros, there is already a map to go by, and I don't see the need to change in something that is perfect. It would be a perfect example of a very, very large Pokemon region, but it's time to fill it with Pokemon. And well, that turned out to be harder than one would think. Since Game of Thrones is grounded in a semi-real world, despite the magic, dragons, and ice zombies, the animals are rather normal and already have a Pokemon counterpart. In fact, I only have 2 examples of original creatures from Game of Thrones world. But I will never cut this part short. In fact, I have 6 examples of Pokemon for you all. 2 original creatures, like I said, and 4 Westerosi forms of Pokemon that already exist. I will start off with the forms, and I warn you that these are rough drawings I did. I am no artist, and these are just meant to give you an idea of what Westerosi forms could be like. These 4 forms are also inspired by the banners of the 4 major houses of Game of Thrones. And we will start this off with the Westerosi Lycanroc based off the dire wolf of House Stark. In this region, there wouldn't be a midday or midnight form, just this steel and ice type version of the Pokemon. I made it more shaggy since it would be found in the north of the region. I tried to keep the coloring of the Starks, white and gray, but I added blue to show that the stone spikes are ice instead. Its stats would be the same as midday Lycanroc, though maybe a bit more defenses. While it would be weak to fire and fighting, it would strike hard with ice shards and a powerful steel type attack it could have. The next Westerosi form would be Pyroar, and it's based off of House Lannister's lion. I incorporated 2 of the family's well-known traits into this Pokemon, their green eyes and their blonde hair. Going by the location where this would be found, the Westerlands, it would be a rock and normal type Pokemon, only losing its fire typing. It would keep the same special and normal attacks, but I would raise its defenses up to the point where it would be able to take even some of the hardest hitting fighting type attacks. Now we move on to the Westerosi Sawsbuck, based off the symbol of House Baratheon. It wouldn't change all that much, just gaining a black coat with some yellow accents. But it would be a grass and fighting type Pokemon. I would want it to play off the power of that house. I even played with the idea of having 2 versions of this Pokemon, the basic grass and fighting type, and one based off of Stannis Baratheon's banner, and it would be a grass and fire type Pokemon. But due to recent show events, I would figure that version wouldn't really be in Pokemon World. Since it's a grass and fighting type, it would be a physical attacking powerhouse, hitting hard and fast. Defenses would be lacking though. Let's just say this Pokemon wouldn't want to go up against an Emboar. And the final Westerosi form we have, also based off the sigil for House Targaryen, is the Westerosi Hydreigon. It wouldn't really change much from its original form. The colors would change mostly, and it would get a thin skin connecting its wings. It would be a dragon and fire type Pokemon going off the Targaryen's words, fire and blood. Its ability would remain, and pretty much everything would stay the same. If anything, I could see its attack being lessened to have it all go into special attack instead. But as Hydreigon is, it's already a perfect representation for the Targaryens. But with the forms done, I'll move on to the 2 creatures from the books/show that would make perfect Pokemon. And we'll start this off with the Manticore. Unlike its mythical counterpart, the Manticore is a very poisonous insect that is often used to carry out assassinations and even coat weapons in. They are normally only found in Essos, but since Pokemon can travel, I figured it would work for being a Westerosi Pokemon. It would make a perfect bug and poison type Pokemon, and it already looks the part too. I would want it to be up to par with Volcarona, so it would be a late game Pokemon that would be extremely powerful. I like the idea of a powerful bug Pokemon, and this would be a great addition, as would our next inspiration. Coming from the books and never seen in the shows yet, the ice spiders that the others use as mounts. Yes, it's a giant ice spider. Besides being freaking awesome and having the obvious bug and ice typing, it would be a very powerful Pokemon that you would get early game. But like Vikavolt, it would take almost the entire game for it to fully evolve. It would be strong even when not fully evolved though, but when it is, it'll be a force to reckon with. Imagine Crabominable, just add great speed to it. Hard hitting and fast? Now that sounds like a great Pokemon. I think this might be the first time I ever introduced so many Pokemon from one region. But this is a special video after all. But now we will get into the legendary Pokemon. And I can hear you all saying, what about the dragons? Well, that is where those would come in now. It's not really shocking, but the dragons of the shows and books are vastly powerful and would be the definition of a legendary Pokemon. I would make it a pure dragon type with nothing else added to it. There would be no better typing for a dragon of this stature. Its stats would be perfect across the board. Arceus-like stats, like 610 in all of them. And I would give it an ability like Moxie, but it would boost both attack and special attack instead of just one. Maybe call it Bloodlust. It would be a powerful Pokemon and game-breaking, just like Daenerys' dragons are in the source material. Westeros. Not only one of the greatest fantasy worlds in modern time, it would also make an amazing and wondrous Pokemon region. We will never get to see this, sadly, but it is something I would love to see. Thank God for fan-made games. This has been the Season 2 finale of Where in the World, but do not worry, Season 3 will be here. This series will be going back to the every other week format, so be sure to leave your ideas and requests in the comments below. I'll do them as they come in, so that means first come first serve, but don't worry, I save all the suggestions and they will be done in due time. And of course, if I do it, I will always give you a shout out as thanks for helping me keep this series going for so long. It might be the longest running series on my channel. If you enjoyed this location, leave it a like and share it around. It helps me grow the channel and I really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter to know when all my videos go live, as well as know when I might be doing something special. The link to my Twitter is in the description below and on the front page of my channel. And, as always, this has been your guide to the world and beyond, Black Phoenix. Thanks for watching, everyone.